Hey everybody, Mark with Kardavox Academy here, and you may notice that my setting is a lot less formal than it normally is. AKA, there's not a big red curtain thrown over a fat piece of cardboard behind me. Anyways, gonna try something new here. So, I wanted to give another lesson breakdown. I like posting those videos where y'all can see kind of how the lessons go, but I thought I'd interject and put some commentary over it. Number one, because might be interesting. Number two, because my voice is really quiet in the video, so I wanted to offer some clarification on what's going on. There are going to be some clips of a new student of mine. His name is Ryan, super cool guy. He and Andre, another student of mine, and the guitarist in Dead World Reclamation, another Arizona local band. They host a podcast and YouTube channel called Arizona Breakdown where they interview local metal bands. It's pretty cool. But anyways, he's starting up a project and, he wants to do metal screams and he's got the basics kind of down, but he was dealing with pain in the throat. And so he reached out to me and that's what this lesson is primarily about. Aiming resonance high, getting distortion off of the larynx and into the soft tissues above the vocal folds, and then of course, making sure we can build endurance and breath support into that. So here is a clip of kind of where the vocals started at the beginning, and you can hear that all of the distortion is coming from basically his larynx and the vocal folds just doing way too much work. It was causing him some pain. So check it out. Yeah, it's falling backwards, and the reason is it sounds like number one. It sounds like you have a little bit too much constriction, right?
Okay.
So when I do my screams and I go, yeah, I can still. Yeah.
No.
The thing is, we don't want to close the airway. We just want to narrow the airway, right? So, and that's one thing you can do as well. In fact, we should do that. So before you go into the scream, try just like breathing like this, and then making that a little bit more distorted. So I gave him some advice. We kind of talked about why it was hurting, why it was happening, where it was happening. And you heard me mention number one, not what you think it is. I had a diagram. I was screen sharing with him, and there was a diagram with arrows pointing to the different ways we could aim our resonance and aim our distortion. And the right arrow was arrow number one. The wrong arrow was arrow number two. So that's just referring to a diagram that was off screen. So I kind of gave him some advice. He tried it again, a little bit better, but still not really working. Check it out. So do it on an I. Do it on an I vowel. And then try to make it, for now, try to make it as nasal as possible. So
okay.
Almost like you're saying, So a lot of times when we're learning a new sound with our voice, the key to getting it to work is going to be the vowel shape that we're holding. Some vowels are actually easier to manage, especially for beginners, than others. So, the I sound, what it does, if you say it right now, it brings up the back of the tongue and it lowers the soft palate. And so basically what you're doing is you're taking your airway and you're narrowing it. And that's a lot of what we want to do, especially with high vocals like this, because we want to narrow that airflow. We want to compress that airflow so our air is doing more work without our muscles doing that work for it. Now, he gives it another try, and these next ones sound pretty good. They're kind of like black metal, and you'll be able to hear the difference in the vocal quality when he uses that I tone and brings the resonance up high. So, check it out. That's the sound of progress, my friends. Still more work to do, still was causing a little bit of discomfort, but it was a lot less. And sometimes, when we're retraining these bad habits, it can take a little while. But with the right guidance, the progress is definitely manageable.
I feel like I was doing that better than before. What I'm feeling is relax. I'm trying to relax as much as possible and push from the diaphragm. I think that I was probably using too much chest earlier, trying to find it. Um, I think I'm starting to understand what you mean by relaxing and just letting the air come out.
Yeah.
And using like my jaw to kind of push it up.
Now, near the end of our lesson, he mentioned, and he had mentioned it at the beginning, and he brought it up at the end. Essentially, he was like, I've been trying kind of a newer vocal. It's a new approach to lows because that's kind of where he started, and he wanted to bring it up and kind of get my feedback. And actually, it was a pretty good vocal. You're gonna hear me mention false chord fry, things like that. And just to kind of clarify that, oftentimes, when we do a vocal, like, we think of it as being completely binary. There's false chord here, and there's fry here, and there's nothing in between. Oftentimes, the techniques that we use will be somewhat in between, less so with fry, I think. Less so, but still, because we can do a false chord and then engage the vocal folds underneath, as long as our grit, our distorted sound, is coming from the right place. It's more difficult to do, and that's not where you should start. But there are multiple places in between those. But generally speaking, when you're starting, yeah, you're going to want to just focus on doing pure false chord or pure fry and moving from there. So anyways, this is kind of what he showed me, and it was actually really cool. It was really good, and so we actually built some practice and some homework for him to do based on this. So check it out.
Okay, so it was not trying to use like vocal cords at all, and more of like a oh style. Give me a sec to try and find it. Yeah, waiting for the slide.
Now you're gonna hear with that vocal he did, you can kind of hear him holding his mouth position like right here, like this, and that's actually a really good thing to do. It can make it difficult for some people to articulate. However, that sound, if you do it right now at home, which basically involves kind of making a sort of kissy mouth, well, you wouldn't want to kiss like that. It'd be gross, but it's kind of, you're pushing those lips forward just gently, and your tongue's kind of doing a little bit of this behind your teeth. What that's doing, if you do it at home, you'll feel your mask buzz. You're going to feel your nose, your lips, you're going to feel it buzz. And that's good because that basically means your resonance is sitting forward in your mouth. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't times where the resonance can shift back a little bit, but when we're starting, we go as safe as possible. Once you learn the basics, then you're allowed to break the rules a little bit, or I should say bend them. So that's what he was doing here, and that's part of the reason why it worked for him. Anyways, I thought it'd be cool for y'all to see a little bit of how some of these lessons go, with a little bit of my commentary interjected over top. If you're looking to, learn how to do metal screams, metal vocals, definitely let me know. I help a lot of people out. This is kind of a new passion of mine. I've also got other tips and tricks on YouTube for Kardavox Academy, and here as well if you just scroll through. I also help people with singing as well, because some of my students have no interest in screaming and they're all looking to sing. That's definitely doable as well. But beyond that, thanks for tuning in. Many thanks. Much love. I'm out.